Well, Michael, I've been assured that we're returning to the regular format tonight. And my best guess, based upon the fact that we both are wearing gray polos tonight, that we're going to discuss the history of the gray polo and its significance on culture. That's my best guess.
Well, we're both also bald, Dan, or near bald anyway, and maybe we'll discuss the effects of hair loss.
Well, I have a gray shirt on and I'm losing hair too. Can I be part of your club?
But I'm also a client.
If this is the road that we're marching down, I guarantee we'll have viewers numbering in the ones. So we'll see how this goes. He's Mike. I'm Dan. We're in the blind. It's In the Blind with Mike and Dan. It is good to have you all here with us this evening. Producer Beth sitting across from me, kind of with an evil look on her face.
No evil.
There's always evil.
Not tonight.
Tonight's role of Beth will be played by substitute Beth. I don't think that's right.
Okay.
Anyways, here's how the show works. We get two topics. We have no idea what they are. Thus, we are in the blind, 20 minutes each to discuss them. And then we have a true-false round at the end of that, which is all sorts of fun. So shall we get this shindig going?
Yes. Ready?
Hit it, sweetheart.
Yes.
Okay. Nature can be breathtaking. A sunrise over the ocean, a forest after fresh rain, snow-covered mountains, fields full of wildflowers, the night sky. It inspires paintings, poetry, music, faith, wonder. People talk about Mother Nature as if she were kind, gentle, nurturing, looking after us. But nature has another side. Earthquakes, floods, wildfires, droughts, venomous animals, diseases, parasites, predators. The same world that grows a beautiful garden can also produce a hurricane. The same forest that gives shelter can burn. The same ocean that feeds millions can sink a ship. Nature is capable of extraordinary beauty and extraordinary indifference. Yet when disaster strikes, people often ask, why would nature do this? As though nature made a choice. As though it owed us something different. Maybe that's because human beings naturally look for fairness. We expect actions to have reasons, suffering to have meaning. We expect good people to be rewarded and bad people to face consequences. But nature doesn't seem to operate that way. Gravity doesn't care whether you're kind. A virus doesn't care who deserves it. A tornado doesn't stop because someone is having a bad day. Nature doesn't appear to be cruel, but it also doesn't appear to be compassionate. It simply is. So the question is, does nature owe us anything? Or are fairness, justice, and compassion ideas that only exist because human beings created them?
All right, Michael, there's probably a line you want to say, so you should probably say it right now.
I made nature a plate of muffins in 1947, and I want my chicken coop painted. I mean, does it owe us anything? I mean...
That wasn't the one I was thinking of, but okay. I thought you'd go for the damn nature, you scary line.
Yeah.
Damn nature, you scary.
There you go.
All right. That little rattler he just got ate. I don't know. No, does nature owe us anything? Look, I mean, nature always, well, I don't know if we always blame nature whenever something goes wrong. It seems like people are always like, I think it's almost just like we blame people. We blame pretty much everybody else. But it's almost like, you know, with God always gets the credit when, like, you know, when somebody wins the Super Bowl, it's, I want to just thank God. And when they lose, of course, they never be like, man, God, why'd you hang me out to dry like that? just like with nature, they're not, I don't know if people necessarily get mad at nature as much as they do. Well, we should have built better seawalls to keep the storm surge out. We should have built a stronger house to prevent the tornado from knocking it down. Well, I guess we should have built a better dam to stop the flood. Whatever. We shouldn't have, but yeah, nature is I think, and this is just me, I think tornadoes, I think hurricanes, those things they're amazing to watch. It is beautiful in its own right. Yes, it's incredibly destructive, and yes, many people die and much property is destroyed as a result. But just in terms of a sheer, just looking at it, from afar, it's beautiful, I think.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, even watching lightning is fascinating.
It is. I mean, you're watching something that is being generated, that the sheer power is something more than human beings can possibly produce. And we have this idea that I always hear the conspiracy theories about how we control the weather and we fire lasers at the sky or whatever. Or we have these antenna that HARP or all this other stuff where they control the weather. And I always laugh at how silly that is. I mean, one hurricane in its life cycle has more energy per day that generated than more than 10,000 times the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
Yeah.
In one day. And if it lasts, so you're talking tens or hundreds of thousands of times the power of a nuke in a single hurricane. I mean, a cloud, just to generate a cloud, there's so much energy that's involved in the creation of that. It's something like 10 to the 15 joules worth of energy. It's just an insane amount.
Yeah.
So more than man is capable of. And that just gives you the sheer power that's behind it. It's almost mind-bending to try and even calculate.
There's real quick. There's a Ron White skit, if you know who Ron White is, and he's talking about hurricanes, and he's talking about the buff people that are really strong and everything else. And he said, it's not that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. And I've always thought about that. It doesn't really matter if you did your squats in the morning, if all of a sudden a tree comes flying at your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nature is destructive, and I don't think nature particularly owes us anything. But obviously there's a bigger system at play, I think that there has to be some refreshing, I suppose. I mean, pretty much the entire universe is based upon the idea of, creation off of destruction.
Yeah.
So the fact that Earth works that way is not surprising at all. But it is that system where life also thrives. So, we might wish that, the destruction wouldn't happen, that animals wouldn't eat other animals and storms wouldn't wipe things out and there wouldn't be earthquakes and, Grandma TCF would not be upstairs right now all achy because the weather's about to change. We'd wish all of these things, but these are all things that are also the basis for life. I mean, it's a constant recycling of things. So I don't, I guess you could look at it one of two ways. You could hate upon the system, or you could realize that without that system, who's to say we would be here?
Yeah.
So,
right.
There are no guarantees. Every life results in a death, no matter how it happens. It's always the same game. So
ashes to ashes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think you can be upset about it.
No.
Some people are, though.
Embrace. Yeah, I know,
Well,
but it doesn't. But again, that's that's probably the same population that likes to talk about how they want comfort and safety and stuff like that, but the world is uniquely not comfortable. It is not safe. And any belief that it is really nothing more than an illusion.
So why do you think people so often describe nature as if it has thoughts, feelings, or intentions, like angry storm or evil predators?
Well, that's just something, humans like to give a personification to everything, they, and of course, people have their own agendas, and they'll say, oh, that storm hit New Orleans because they have a lot of gay people, or, something like that. It's,
has nothing to do with the fact that they're below the water level or below sea level.
It's like, oh no, It's not the fact that it's a bowl-shaped city surrounded by water. No, it's gotta be the behavior of the people in that city.
Yeah.
Sure. Right. But that's, again, people like to, it's just like with a lot of things, people like to explain things in a way, or try to reason, come up with ways to rationalize, or reasons why things happen outside of the fact that sometimes there isn't a reason other than the fact that it just happens. It just is. A tornado is just a violent rotating updraft. It doesn't care about anything except for the fact that it just needs the ingredients necessary to thrive and survive. It just needs an unstable air mass or a supercell storm to get going. Other than that, it doesn't have feelings or intentions. Now that said, I mean, it looks scary. It's intimidating, but it doesn't know that.
I'm sure you've had this on your channel a million times over, but and for those of you who don't know, Michael has a weather channel, so this is right up his alley. But you said sometimes it just is, like the storms, but if you look at a broader picture, I'm sure you could argue certain things like our use of chlorofluorocarbons depleted the ozone.
Sure.
I mean, there's things that have happened across the course of history that have definitely led to additional Mother Nature disasters.
Right. Man affects the environment. Anybody that thinks we don't is silly. You take a desert, right? And then you decide, instead of the natural sand of the desert floor, you replace it with concrete and asphalt and metal and trees and swimming pools and all this other stuff. And you don't think that you're going to change the climate of the area and make it even hotter. Well, that's silly. Of course you are. Sand is naturally porous. Yeah, it gets hot during the day, absolutely, but because it's porous, it loses that energy quickly at night. That's why the open desert gets so much colder than cities. But, now that we've replaced that,
all that heat, and then it just reflects back up.
Yeah. And, it's just like you change the flow of water. You're going to change the environment. So this is one of those things that, yes, we influence nature in that sense. And maybe that's why people say nature gets angry, because sometimes what happens is those walls or those barriers or those safety measures you put up, the seawall to stop the storm surge. Well, the problem is that, you can only build a seawall that's so big and so strong. And then when that comes down, well, that just could add to the destruction, and people might personify that as nature being angry, when it's just simple physics.
I think one of the things worth considering when we want to say that nature is unfair or unkind or things like that is, I think you also have to acknowledge the advances that society has made in controlling the situation. Mike, you and I live in the desert. We could not be here, at least not in the millions that we are here in the greater Phoenix area, without air conditioning.
Right.
We've mastered that, and we've conquered the climate situation here from that standpoint.
Well, we couldn't have a studio, that's for darn sure, because all the equipment would overheat. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you look at the structures that we're able to make now and how they can withstand high winds, and some of them, tornadoes and hurricanes, things like that. These ridiculously tall buildings that are engineered to sway with the wind so they bend but don't break. I mean, that's, I think, part of the equation that we probably miss, is that nature is unkind to us, but we've developed a lot of ways to deal with nature, and I don't think that should be overlooked either.
Right.
It's I mean, if you look at where we are in history, it's a wonderful time to try to deal with nature, because we have tools.
Well,
that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. For example, we now have the ability we have inventions like dual polarization radar, which allows us to better see into thunderstorms and better look at at a possible tornado developing as it's happening. Even before it happens, we can see the rotation, and we can see, especially when it's rooted down toward the base of the boundary layer. There's just above the surface, you can see that rotation. So you can see and warn people about a potential tornado coming, or you can warn people about a severe thunderstorm. You can warn people about a heat wave. Just in the weather world, there's so many things that we can do to advise people of risks that we weren't able to do before. And there's more education now. So yeah, people still die, of course, of heat and flood and lightning and tornado related stuff, but not nearly to the numbers that they used to. Because we have more education, and because we have more awareness, and because we have more advanced alert systems. Volcanoes and everything else, are going to be a lot less deadly too for those reasons. At least to a point. Now, a super caldera decides to go off, and the one up there in Wyoming, it's going to be a bad day for humanity. That's going to be bad. All the preparation in the world isn't necessarily going to save you. But nevertheless, still on a broader scale, we have learned to work around nature, at least to a point. At least Earth's nature. The universe as a whole, there's so many ways it can get us, but I guess you just have to deal with that when it comes.
Well, humans in general like to think of themselves as the alpha, the all-knowing, and the fact that we can fix or prevent anything. Do you think that humanity would make better decisions if they thought of themselves as part of nature instead of separate from it? Because we're part of the equation, but very often we look at it separate, like, oh, this, like you said, building walls and trying to fix the things that nature throws at us instead of trying to work with it. Like you were talking about the heat in Arizona. If developers built houses differently and didn't stack them so close together so that air could actually flow through them, our bill for running the air conditioner 24/7 wouldn't be quite as vast, but that's not the case. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Anyone?
If we built, more of that porous, I know they have those like parking lots, and they have that special asphalt or this special material that they put down that's much more porous and absorbs water better, and it cools more evenly. I mean, if we used more of that, that might help. If we tried to keep things more along the lines of the natural habitat, that would certainly help. But I mean, the toothpaste is kind of out of the tube on that one,
Yeah. But we could definitely, as humanity, make better decisions going forward. It's a choice. It's always a choice.
Well, yeah. And we tend to make the choices that are either politically or financially motivated over the ones that are actually,
the most beneficial.
Yeah, the most helpful.
Yeah.
For sure. And, how we deal with nature is certainly a big part of that. The pushes for like solar power and wind power. I mean, I get it, but you look at the damage that those things do and how inefficient they are in comparison to other resources that we have. It's, but they're made because it's politically and monetarily motivated rather than not necessarily being what's best for us. So
yeah, we've talked about greenwashing before, but yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's,
but it definitely ties in.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I don't know, with a couple of minutes left, just to kind of swing it back, I guess I just say that there's something to be said for embracing the chaos, because that's just life, and nature is part of it. And there's going to be heat waves, and there's going to be storms, and there's going to be things that try to kill us. And it's been that way since the dawn of time, and it's not going anywhere. So, like I said earlier, we've figured out ways to adapt to it, ways to make it better for ourselves, but it doesn't eliminate it. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I guess in the end, just cherish the time that you've got and do the best you can with it. And, if you see a storm coming, seek shelter and, just
stop dumping garbage into the ocean, maybe.
Yeah. There are definitely things that we could do.
Yeah. There's
get off your phone and stop live streaming it. And yeah.
Not everything has to be.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be dumping garbage in the ocean.
That channel probably exists.
I guarantee you that channel exists.
It might
hey
be
guys,
over on
it's
Rumble
Corey, and
where
today
it's less likely to get edited, but
yes. Well, yeah, I'm sure YouTube doesn't care about that. They just care about, maybe like just dumb things. And I'm just going to make up something random. Like, let's say, I don't know, like 3 years ago, you had a sponsor that sold a legal product, but maybe in one state that product has higher regulations. And so they decide, hey, you'd better take that down or else. So,
yeah. Or perhaps you have a video that has a 2-minute segment of somebody who happened to be in a courtroom because they earned their way there, but they're concerned about their privacy.
Right. You mean you mean one of those public courtrooms that we have here in the U.S. where everything is supposed to be, open to the public?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then that person didn't want everything open to the public, even though it's supposed to be. And
correct.
Again, these are made up examples.
Totally made up.
We're just spitballing here. This isn't actually something that's happened, because that would just be stupid.
Yes, it would. All right. Topic 1 in the books.
Okay.
What you got for us now?
Well, it's kind of the what happens next part. So, human beings have never been content to simply live in nature. We've tried to improve it, control it, protect it, redirect it, fix it, sometimes for survival, sometimes for profit, sometimes because we genuinely believed we were helping. We drain wetlands to create farmland. We introduce new plants to solve one problem. We move animals to places where they never existed before. We suppress wildfires. We dam rivers. We eliminate predators. We release pests pets, we do pests too. We talked about that on a previous episode, into the wild because it feels kinder than abandoning them. And sometimes those decisions work, but sometimes nature has other plans. A tree planted because it grows quickly ends up replacing entire native ecosystems. An unwanted aquarium pet becomes an invasive species. An insect arrives by accident and quietly rewrites the balance of an entire agricultural system. One small decision, one unintended consequence, then another, because ecosystems are not collections of separate pieces, they're living networks. Change one part, and dozens of others may change with it. The difficult part is that none of these decisions usually begin with bad intentions. Most begin with people trying to solve a problem, but nature doesn't always respond the way we expect. So the question is, when humans try to improve nature, can we ever really predict what happens next?
Short answer, no. I mean, there's always unintended consequences because, and we've alluded to this before, we live in or on a world that we do not totally understand.
But again, alpha humanity thinks they know everything.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. But the reality of it is that we don't fully understand everything. There's nature has a response to just about everything you throw at it. It might have a response for you immediately. It might take time, but there's always something. And sometimes those responses are surprising and wonderful, and other times, not so much. Like, there's a bacteria now that's been found in landfills that's starting to consume the plastics.
Mm-hmm.
So nature has adapted to what we've tried to do to it there.
It's like the weird ecosystems around the Titanic.
Yeah. From a negative standpoint, that, we're doing a negative thing and the planet's tried to correct and turn it into a positive. But, but then you look at like big cities that are made, and Phoenix here in Arizona, I think, is a great example. And Mike, you'll probably agree with me. We can look at it and go, look, we've taken this place that nobody could live, and we've made it a place where you can live. Yeah, except there's so much concrete and everything else here now that it's one big giant heat sink.
Yeah.
And that's just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. So, and, people probably weren't thinking about that. But, but our highways, if, they're so hot that you burn through your tires faster than ever, which has a negative effect on the environment because we're throwing more tires away and stuff like that. And God forbid that you walk on the pavement around here without shoes that are good enough because they'll melt.
Or definitely don't do it with bare feet.
No, that's
you can't even walk your dog in the middle of the day.
You won't have skin by the time you're done. I mean, there's just there's always an unintended consequence to everything, and no, we're too stupid to figure that out. My personal thoughts. You, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not only what you talked about there, Dan, with building, big cities like Phoenix, for example, big heat sink, but the ripple effect is it affects not just the local climate, but even has impact on regional climate, the environment, bugs. Look, mosquitoes did not exist in Phoenix when I moved here. They just didn't. You'd see one maybe once or twice, but they just weren't here. But then we create a big man-made lake in the middle of the city. We have more and more swimming pools and fountains and places of standing water. And now mosquitoes are a thing here. There's been times where we've had more mosquitoes here than they have in traditional places of mosquitoes like Minneapolis. I remember going back to Minneapolis and be like, man, I could actually sit outside and not get eaten alive. What are you talking about? Oh, because we have tons tons of mosquitoes back in Phoenix now.
Yeah, in Toledo they actually spray for them in the summer. They have trucks.
They did
that,
in North Dakota and Minnesota. They would do that too. But that's the thing. So there's a ripple effect of stuff. It's just like YouTube doesn't certain illnesses that may have been created in a lab that may have occurred approximately 6.5-ish years ago that may very well have been deadly.
All
people
of this
have
happening, of course, in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Right.
What was that skit we saw the other day? Because a bat fornicated with a monkey. That was how they described it. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. So that's that kind of stuff is that's something that humans do also. And so we're not smart enough to figure that out, or even if we are, the problem is all it takes is a couple of dumb people. And
we're not smart enough to know what we don't know. That is the biggest problem.
Right. Well, and then there's stuff that we do know, or that should be pretty common knowledge, like, hey, maybe we don't just, experiment with highly contagious pathogens, and maybe we don't just sort of like screw around with that stuff and then not tell anybody about it.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
So what you're saying is that certain kinds of research, and let me just make one up, we'll call it gain of function research. Just as an example, you're saying that certain things probably just shouldn't be done because we risk a bad outcome.
Certain things, well, I'm not saying shouldn't ever be done, but maybe let's say if you do them, right, and then something happens, maybe you don't just lie about it and say, no, it certainly isn't from our laboratory, even though it sure seems like it is. And, you may be able to trace things back and the evidence all points to this place, but I assure you, kind sirs, I assure you, people with pitchforks, it is absolutely not. No, sir. And then years later, yeah, it was us. Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, like, gosh, yeah, a vial spills here and a container spills over there, and Marge decides to take it out, with the trash, and then a bat or something gets into it, and then somebody decides that the bat is their wife, and that's kind of how these things get born. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in case you guys think that I'd just randomly come up with these things like off the cuff, I don't. This whole particular thing was based on a few different news articles. And just real quick to give you some background so you know what prompted the question. In Florida, Australian melaleuca trees were introduced, and they later spread across hundreds of thousands of acres and are now replacing native wetlands. Here in Arizona, there is bubblegum pink apple snail eggs that are now appearing after invasive aquarium snails established themselves in local waterways. And there's actually, if you Google it, there's actually things that the city and state is telling you to do if you see these bubblegum pink things, to try to kill them. And you don't want to touch them with your hands because you can get infected. Another example, Argentine ants were accidentally introduced into California, where they now protect aphids and other sap-feeding insects, making crop pests harder to control, which has destroyed like thousands and thousands of citrus trees and everything else. So the idea behind this was actually like based in real life recent examples of where
Wow.
Stuff either happened accidentally or we were like, oh, we're going to fix a problem. Like in Florida, we're going to fix this problem because, there's too much
Yeah.
wetlands. But now all of a sudden these trees are overtaking everything and it's making it worse. That's just
Because Florida.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Google to the rescue.
Yes.
Just like they want to do with the mosquitoes.
Yep.
I mean, we've been introducing things to other regions since the dawn of time. The dandelion is not native.
Cats.
Cats.
The cat island in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is just one of those things where it is kind of infuriating when I think about the things we do as humanity and how and maybe that's the other thing is going back to the first question, why people think, oh, nature's biting back. Well, nature is going to try and correct. For every action there's the equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
When we continue to generate heat into the atmosphere, nature's going to try and do something about that. Something is going to happen. And it's not going to be pretty. But it's what happens. I mean, this is just Earth just has a way of kind of zeroing out a lot of things over time. You talk about the bacteria that's eating the garbage. There's the bacteria, there's the decay of the Titanic. You've got metal that's just being consumed by the salt water and some sort of bacteria down there as well. It's pretty crazy. So, and eventually a lot of that Titanic wreckage will be gone. Eventually.
Oh, it's already deteriorating.
Yeah.
It's just kind of getting eaten up. I mean, all the wood and everything has pretty much been gone forever.
Oh, yeah.
And the
And
metal
again,
is on its way.
You're talking a depth of miles below the surface. I mean, nothing, no human could ever live down there, could exist at all, no matter what. I mean, even in some sort of suit. I mean,
they tried it. And if you don't know the story of that, maybe we can talk about it on the show, but that was an epic failure. There was a company that actually tried to monetize going down to see the Titanic.
Yeah, that was what, last year?
A couple of years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of people died and a lot of people lost a ton of money on that thing.
Yeah, that was one that I don't know.
They weren't the first tourist company. They were just the first one to do it stupidly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, look, if you want to get in a fight with nature and the laws of physics, you will lose. I mean, it's just that simple.
That Titanic company that we're referring to is like almost on par with like Elizabeth Holmes level of crazy.
well, ish.
We can do things. What about all the pressure? We can fix it. We have engineers.
It's not going to be a problem.
I have my own special engineers that know things that your engineers don't.
I'm not putting on a phony voice. I'm a woman, and I just happen to have a very deep voice. So, that was so weird. Yes. So yeah, and again, when you grift, when you try to, again, that might be also where people say, "Oh, nature bites back." Yeah, well. When you do something stupid, you play stupid games, you're going to win a stupid prize.
Stupid prizes.
And that's the dumbest one there.
Yeah, there's a lot of receipts that nature still holds in that department, I would say.
Yes.
Has a long list. So, I think overall, and I think you both agree, but in my opinion, I think humans should spend less time trying to control nature and more time trying to learn how nature already solves problems and study that more than just trying to quote unquote fix it. I think that's a pretty large gaping hole in like actual research and development.
Say that again.
If we spent more time trying to learn how nature and natural systems already solve problems rather than just trying to control it.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually understand the full chain of like a food chain, for example. That's easy for everybody to picture because, you know, we know that if we eat a plant or eat meat, that also, you know, consumes other things and it goes all the way down the chain. But things in nature, pretty much everything in nature works the exact same way. It's just a chain of events. But I think in many situations, humans don't fully understand that chain of events. So they're trying to solve problems that they don't fully understand.
That's unfortunately kind of how humans solve everything.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It's not just nature.
I
We
know.
go
I
at
was just trying to
everything
keep it
without
on
fully
topic.
understanding. You know?
Just fumble around.
Just trying to keep it on the rails. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, we do that in medicine. We do that in finance. I mean, always trying to correct, but not fully understanding the potential impacts because we don't want to take the time to do the studying. We just want the instant answer. And I think that's just part of human nature. Unfortunately, there's very few people that are willing to put in the work. And that's why so many people fail at what they do is they're not willing to put in the work. So, I mean, failure with nature is really no different in my mind because it's the same thing. You know, it's less rush.
It's tunnel vision versus understanding the broader picture.
Yep. And unfortunately, that is just kind of how we're built. There are some exceptions, but the vast majority of people just like to rush and then if they get lucky with an answer, like, oh, look at me. And then, by the time the impact of their answer arrives a decade later, they've cashed in all their chips and they've moved to an island somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
And understanding the whole chain of reaction also poses the unique contradiction that you can make decisions that are compassionate toward one animal or toward one thing, like we should absolutely never do animal testing. Okay, I understand where that comes from. But in turn, if we're no longer doing animal testing, then there's going to be humans that are harmed from products or whatever in response. So you can be compassionate toward one thing in nature while also causing a completely different problem to another group. And again, that's something that people don't really think about either.
So I think the ultimate thing here is that people just don't think.
Yeah.
We could sum up this discussion just in that.
Yes.
Quite honestly, which is sad, but it is true. People just don't think. I don't know. I mean, I think though a lot of things are approached with good intentions, I guess.
And a lot of things are approached with trying to make money. I think money is usually a motivator, even when it comes to nature, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are people that may have good intentions and may want to do the right thing, but yeah, inevitably a lot of people get taken over because they see the money that's there, and so they'll naturally go to the grifting. Even in something like protection of nature and the forests and all of that sort of thing, they'll get their charities going, and so That's it's unfortunate, but I mean that's humanity, and humanity is just a big part of nature. So
A lot of the biggest charities have some of the most overpaid CEOs and, higher ups than a lot of regular companies. I mean, I'm not talking about like the top 10 tech companies, but just in general, do you really think that CEOs of a nonprofit should really be profiteering that much when their goal is supposedly to help?
Well, this is an example of not understanding the systems.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but nonprofit is nothing more than a tax designation.
exactly.
But people don't look at that. They see a nonprofit and they go, "Oh, this is somebody that's really trying to help out the world, so we should bullshit."
Yeah,
They're there to make money. It's
Yep.
a tax designation. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
that's why
Yep.
so many real companies also have a nonprofit wing, because it's another way for them to help with taxes.
Yeah, and
It's not
everything
quite-
that they do, even the stuff that is altruistic, and even the stuff that works out to be good, they're not doing it because they're altruistic and good. They're doing it because, well, there's money to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I know that sounds cynical. It sounds like, oh, Mike, you're a dick. And that may be true, but I'm also correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as nefarious as like money laundering, but if you think about it, it's almost
No.
like a legal version of money laundering.
Right.
They're playing the game to the best of their ability within the system that's created, but they're definitely playing the game. They're not, like you said, it's not altruistic.
Right. CEOs, even of these kind, they don't wake up and go, now today I'm really going to get out there and do everything I can to help the environment. Oh, you're going to go ahead and give millions of dollars to, oh God, no, I'm not. Jeez, stop. The tax write-off.
So real quick before we go into the true false round, Wahoo puts in the chat, do individual efforts even matter if the world, which I think he corrected to society in his next comment, is against us in the long run? Wahoo, yes, your individual efforts always matter because it is kind of us against the world or us against society. But if you don't put forth the effort, who wins? Certainly not you.
Yeah.
So you have to put forth the effort. You have to find a way to navigate whatever system is in front of you, and rather than succumb to it, conquer it. It's kind of like the boss level in any video game. You got to figure out how to get past it. And yeah, it sucks and it's unfortunate, but that's life. And I say that because that is honestly how we've structured everything here at the bunker. The odds are always stacked against us. Always.
Yep. Very true.
But I'm not going to stop. I'm not just going to lay down and go, well, I'll only ever achieve this on YouTube, or I'll only ever achieve this with our other businesses, or, I had a bad customer today, so doggone it, I'm just not, none of that.
Yeah,
always
I'll give up.
Pushing forward.
Yep.
So that's my take on that. Anyways.
I think part of it, one more thing real quick. Part of the boss level, like you said, in response to what Wahoo said, I think part of the individual effort and making sure that your effort is actually meaningful is putting in the time to understand the system that you're in. Because if you're just donating to nonprofits because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy, you should really know what that nonprofit is. And I think that's where a lot of people get sucked into the greenwashing and things like that. You need to understand what's actually going on under the hood of the car and not just hand over your money blindly because you think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. How many people complain about the economy the way it is now and the way prices are rising and all of this, but don't take the time to study how our economy works, to understand where it's broken. And yeah, one person can't fix it, but if you understand where it's broken, maybe you can figure out how to navigate it better. But it requires the effort, and you've got to always be moving forward. Anyways, a little off topic, but True, false round time.
Yeah, we spent the first half discussing humanity's complicated relationship with nature. For the second half, we're going to let nature defend itself. And as you're about to discover, and we already know, nature is weird.
So we're going to do a bunch of bug and animal stuff. This should be fun.
Oh.
All right. First one?
Yes.
Go.
The moon is slowly moving closer to the Earth every year by about 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters.
That is false.
That is false.
The moon is actually drifting away at maybe about the same distance, but it's actually drifting away from us, not moving closer.
And it is that drag. It's also slowing down, helping to for the Earth to slow down. So,
yeah. No, the spaceship that is the moon is slowly starting to move away so that it can go orbit another planet somewhere and mess with it.
Flying off, yes.
I don't think we need more time with this one, do you?
No.
You guys got that too quickly. Okay, this one is false, but only because the moon has politely been backing away for billions of years.
Yep.
It's actually moving away from Earth by the exact dimensions I gave, 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters every year. The reason is surprisingly cool. The moon's gravity creates tides on Earth, and those tides gradually transfer a tiny bit of Earth's rotational energy to the moon, nudging it into a slightly higher orbit. So yes, the moon isn't getting closer, it's politely backing away. Apparently, even our closest celestial neighbor needs a little more personal space.
Nah, they're just firing up the engines to move on. It takes a few thousand years to get them fully functional, that's all.
Yes.
Different time scale.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, next one.
Go.
Some rocks in California's Death Valley can move across the desert and leave long trails behind them without any people or animals pushing them.
Well, wouldn't that just be like erosion and like moving down a hill?
I'm not talking about erosion.
Still, wouldn't it just be like moving down a hill?
No, moving across a desert. We're talking about moving across a desert, not
so you're
down a
saying
hill.
a flat land.
Yeah,
Because
we're
deserts have mountains. We live in one.
Yeah, I'm talking about Death Valley, though. I said California's Death Valley.
Yeah. But what's on the side of valleys? Generally.
Okay,
hills and
the
mountains.
side of valleys. I'm talking about the valley itself. The
Okay.
valley itself
Like the
is
valley
like
floor.
Yes.
Okay, so on the valley floor. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it clear. Tectonic activity moving them, perhaps. I could see that. Thoughts, Michael?
That would be about the only thing I could think of is that. That would be the one way that they could do that.
Or the rocks are being moved by tiny snails and silverfish and centipedes and stuff.
Well, I said without any people or animals pushing them.
You didn't say insects, though.
Okay. Animals or insects.
Why are you glaring at me?
Dan's trying to like fight over these questions. I'm not sure
fighting.
why. Michael's going to slowly like
I'm looking for
back
clarity.
away off screen. Mom and Dad are fighting
I'm
again.
just asking for clarity.
Yeah.
Don't want no trouble.
again.
Yeah, it's been a day.
Oh, it has. Oh, it has. Anyway,
Most certainly.
I'm
I'm gonna go with true. I think it's tectonic activity.
I'll say true as well.
All right.
Okay, this one is true, but not for the reasons that you guys thought. Apparently, some rocks have places to be. For decades, scientists couldn't explain how these massive stones were creating long trails across the desert floor all by themselves. People blamed everything from magnetic fields to earthquakes to aliens because apparently the aliens are always unemployed. But the real answer turned out to be wonderfully boring. On rare winter mornings, a thin sheet of ice forms beneath the rocks. As the sun comes up, the ice breaks into larger panels, and even a light breeze can slowly push the rocks across the wet desert floor. So yes, the rocks really do move on their own. They're just getting a very, very slow shove from nature.
All right.
Huh.
I thought that was interesting. But they're
That is interesting.
actually called, what's the word they're called? They're called saline stones, if anybody wants to look it up, or if you want to get the show notes, I have links but they're referred to as saline stones in the Death Valley.
The more you know.
Sounds like a Christopher
Numero
Cross song.
3-0?
Yes.
All right.
Let me get there. Sorry. A Venus flytrap closes every single time anything touches one of its trigger hairs.
I think that's false. I think it's more selective than that.
Yeah.
I think there's chemistry that goes on there to determine what it is. If I recall correctly, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I seem to remember something like that. I know it's not every single time though. I just don't. I don't remember why, but yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think there's a chemical trigger. I'm false on this one. You, Michael?
I am also false.
All right.
You guys are on a roll tonight, like those saline stones.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
this one is false because apparently even carnivorous plants don't make decisions after the first date. A Venus flytrap usually won't snap shut after just one touch. A Venus flytrap normally requires 2 quick trigger events or enough sustained stimulation to generate 2 electrical signals before it snaps shut. That helps the plant avoid wasting energy on things like raindrops, falling leaves, or other false alarms. So no, one touch isn't enough. Even a man-eating plant believes in getting a second opinion.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
just like dating.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right.
Also,
Number 4.
All right. I think you guys will like this one. Some vultures cool themselves by urinating on their own legs, allowing the liquid to evaporate and help lower their body temperature.
That sounds like something a vulture would do, or many people I've met over the years.
residents of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, probably. I could see that.
If you've ever watched On Patrol Live, or what is it called now?
Live PD.
Live PD. Yeah, that's the old one. The people when they get arrested and then they just like wet themselves.
Well,
That
I've
is
done
something we have
myself.
never seen in court. Is somebody wet themselves in court? I'm waiting for that one.
Yeah.
That'd be like the ultimate bingo card.
Right.
So what do you think, vultures? Do they piss on themselves to lower their body temperature or not?
Sure. Why? Some door dashers do it.
I was looking at. I have a story about a vulture, and
So Michael Wahoo just put in the chat. Some door dashers do it too.
Oh, that's so on brand.
Well, if it's good enough for a door dasher, it's good enough for a vulture. So I'm going to say true.
I will also say true.
All right.
It's true, which is either brilliant biology or a spectacular lack of dignity. Many vultures cool themselves by
Both.
urinating and sometimes even defecating on their own legs. As the liquid
come on.
evaporates, it helps lower their body temperature, much like sweating does for humans. Scientists also think it might help reduce bacteria they pick up while walking around carcasses. So yes, nature found a way to stay cool because apparently sweating was simply too mainstream. The behavior, if anybody is nerdy, is called euhydrosis. So yeah, the liquid evaporates. The other interesting thing is, let me find it in my notes here.
Sounds like a Uranus allegation to me, Dan.
Mhm.
The legs of vultures often have a white chalky appearance because of the dried uric acid.
Ugh.
So yeah, neat, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, real quick for you, Beth, because you weren't there, or for anybody in the chat who wasn't at the TCF pre-show this morning. Before the show, I was listening to a police interrogation thing going on in the background. And the lady who was being interrogated, her name was Sushi. That was not a nickname. That was her actual name, S-U-S-H-I, her legal name. And she was very upset about the Uranus allegations that were being made against her. That's what Michael was just referencing. Just
Yes.
Nice.
Uranus allegations being made against her.
Yes.
Allegations so large they were like planetary sized, or they were just shit. I don't know which.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
an example of somebody reaching for vocabulary that they do not own.
Yes. So really quick, a couple more nerdy things because I found this one kind of fascinating. Birds don't separate their urine and their feces the way other mammals do.
Correct.
Both leave through the cloaca.
Cloaca.
You're right. Which is why vultures may be described as urinating and defecating or simply excreting on their legs. Like I said, it's called urhydrosis. And so, yeah, sometimes it's not just pee. Sometimes it's everything.
Well, you should remember this from the birds that we had when we had our quail.
Yes.
Yes. Same thing.
But vultures are very large, and that's kind of gross if you think about it.
No.
I mean,
Bigger feet need bigger amounts of urine, I guess.
I mean, look, Moises Alou, who played for the Cubs, among other teams in the MLB, used to pee on his hands before, games. So I don't know. People do it too, I guess. So.
Okay. On that note, number 5.
All right, last one. Horned lizards defend themselves by spraying a highly acidic fluid from glands near their eyes. The unusual low pH helps irritate a predator's eyes, nose, and mouth, giving the lizards time to escape.
I think that's actually true. I seem to recall some like lizard eye juice thing. And it sounds like a lizardy kind of thing.
Yeah, and given the stuff that we've heard other animals do on this segment and like beetles and various other things, from basically microwave and deep frying their prey, and this seems
The wombat
again,
cube poop.
Yes. Cube dumps. I mean, anything. We've heard so much different stuff here that this, by comparison, is pretty tame. I would be pretty much in on true on that one.
Ashley's questioning whether it's a problem with the pH, though, if it's the opposite of what she said. She said low pH.
Oh.
But, a lower pH is acidic and a higher pH is alkaline. So a lower pH would make sense.
Yes, and I said highly acidic fluid.
Yeah, and I remember that from when I had my discus fish because I had to keep them in slightly acidic water. Yeah, I'm going to go with true on this.
Michael?
I will also say it's true.
Okay. The producer finally got one. It is false.
Oh.
But it's not the pH. It's only because nature somehow found an even stranger solution. Horned lizards don't spray an acidic chemical. They spray, wait for it, blood. When threatened, certain species can sharply increase pressure in blood-filled sinuses around their eyes, forcing a stream of blood several feet toward a predator. And somehow, that's still not the weirdest part of the blood, or of the whole thing. The blood tastes especially foul to canines and coyotes and foxes, which often decide this meal suddenly isn't worth the effort. So no, it's not an acidic eye spray, it's weaponized eyeball blood. Because apparently Mother Nature decided psychological warfare was more fun than chemistry.
I'm pretty sure I knew a girl in high school that had that trick as well. If I recall correctly.
Did you date her?
Nobody dated her.
Did it turn into a Carrie situation?
Maybe. That's what Carrie's based upon, actually.
It's the origin story.
Neat.
You didn't throw glasses at me this time, but I did. No. I finally got one on you. You guys were like 4 for 4 there, so
yeah, we still win.
I know, but I'm proud of myself that I got one on the last one.
Fair enough.
You did. But I it still was not far off. It's not like it was, they still do that's a weird thing to do still.
Yeah.
And I
But
guess
I try to
Dan
make
knows
the
a person that
questions-
has mimicked that.
I try to make the questions fair. It wasn't a gotcha question. I didn't say like the pH was a certain number and when the number was different or anything like that. So
It was off by 0.1. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's definitely weird. It's
Oh, it is.
yeah, that it shoots stuff out of its eyeballs.
I mean,
It's kind of frightening.
yeah, that's that.
Weaponized
Again,
eyeball blood.
you can see why when we have so many other weird things on this. I mean, you can see why I would think that would be true. I mean, again, we have the microwaving beetle, basically. I mean, how could we? A beetle with a laser attached to it. I mean, it's pretty much. I don't know. I believe just about anything on this segment.
Well, even humans, if you think about it, if there's something wrong, you can wind up with CSF leaking out of your eyes.
It's true.
Which is rather gross if you think about it, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Not just on like a Dr. House special.
Dr. House special. Could you imagine
Roadhouse.
Dr. House doing after school specials?
Oh. They would be bleeped in so many spots. Yeah.
Remember, kids, don't do Vicodin.
This is your brain. This is your brain on Vicodin.
Well, you went into that coma because you deserved it, because you took all those pills. I can help you, but I don't think you want the help. Maybe I should just leave.
Yeah, that's an
Doctor,
option.
no.
All right. On
So-
that note,
Nature is weird.
nature is weird.
Hopefully you learned something today, everyone.
Well,
That is one of the unintended consequences of this show, is that people do learn things from time to time.
Or you at least went, wait, what? 'Cause,
who knows? You might just learn something along the way. Yeah, well, maybe. You might.
Nature, you scary.
So if you want to
Damn,
continue the
Nature,
learning,
you're
go over to
scary.
itbshow.com and sign up for the emails if you don't already get them, because then you get Beth's show notes. How many pages tonight, sweetheart?
25.
Oh, shorter tonight.
Yes.
So
Oh,
it's an
man.
easier read. So
Just
do
a-
get that. And we'll be back tomorrow over at the Courtroom Files, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And Michael, you'll have your weather video at some point tomorrow with
I
things
will.
to say, because we've got like monsoony kind of stuff going.
Yes.
Monsoony.
Yes.
Is that
So-
a word?
Yeah,
It
it
is
is
now.
now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that'll be fun. And then we'll be back here Wednesday for this show at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on this very channel. So with all that having been said, let's call it a night.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.